Today I want to talk about something that you see everywhere these days. It didn't even exist when I was a kid, but we're going to talk about it. We have a world, I know some people out there would probably call me an old timer. Believe it or not, I'm a little bit older than I look. Maybe a lot older, hopefully. Anyway, there's a phenomenon that I've seen unfold over the past, it seems like maybe a decade. And that is what I call the cancer of cancel culture. Recently, there was this, folks, I want to point out first that I have reservations about doing this video because to a certain extent, I'm asserting myself into, I guess, something of a dispute that was going on. But I feel like I need to speak out about it because I have, maybe not as in wider circles, but have been the recipient of some of this stuff that goes on. And it has to do with, let's just start with Joel Salatin. And I'm sure anybody watching this, unless you're new to the whole homesteader, permaculture, this whole space, the whole thing that's going on with Joel Salatin and a guy from a farm, I think not far away from his, Michelle and William have kept up with it to a greater extent than I have, but I've been kind of keeping up with the cliff notes. Long story short, Joel issued an apology on his blog, which, by the way, I read every day, and by the way, also is probably the best blog out there when it comes to farming, at least where I'm standing, because he covers just about everything. Now, he had made a statement, and some could have misunderstood what he was meaning regarding indigenous people, and some would even say just minorities in general. I read it the first time it came out, and then I read it again when it became a dispute. Now, you can go back and look for yourself exactly what that was, but from where I'm standing, had he said that, I dare say even a year ago, it would not have gotten the outrage that subsequently happened because of it. And honestly, folks, as a person of color, I'm a little sensitive at times about those types of things. I've met Joel Salatin on 3 or 4 occasions, and believe me, folks, from where I'm coming from and where I grew up, I know very well the look of disdain. I know before a person, it ever comes out of their mouth, whether or not they are racist. And that man is not a racist at all. In fact, the overwhelming majority of the people I meet are not racist. In fact, it may surprise some of you out there that over the past, I'd say 5 years working all throughout this country, the majority of the racism I've seen has either come from hardcore people on the left or it's come from people of color. And that's where I've seen the majority of the racism out there. So long story short, what happened with Joel was he made this statement. A guy named Chris made a huge deal out of it. And then subsequently, Joel issued an apology. Mother Earth News kicked him out of the conference, which in my view was a massive mistake. And then all of a sudden, here we are with this Chris, where it's not enough. He gets what he wants, and it's not enough for that to be enough. He has to write other articles about this whole thing, and idiotic things like Everything I Want to Do is Racist, a play on Joel's book, which is Everything I Want to Do is Illegal. Now, I do find it a little bit curious that this Chris had all the gratitude in the world when he was doing this Kickstarter. And then all of a sudden, I guess when he saw the hay that he could make playing with cancel culture and everybody's a racist type thing, all of a sudden he did a 180 on the guy. I don't know him personally. I've read his stuff. If your response to all the disagreement out there is, quote, you're a colonizer or you're a racist or you don't understand, folks, I'm not playing that. I'm really not. And I'll go back to, for the folks that are new to this channel, I'll go back to, in modern day, when people like him call you a racist, you know what that really means? It's an acronym that I created a long time ago, and it stands for Rational and Constitutionally Inspired Sensible Thinker. That's what a racist is today. And folks, the worst thing you can do, and I won't go into the history of it, but I do have, in my former life, let's say, I have a certain degree of understanding and even education in what people like him and a number of others are taught out there regarding Marxism and all this other garbage. Long before I became a dyed-in-the-wool libertarian, but it was well on the journey. So having this training, I know full well that the worst thing The absolute worst thing you can ever do with these people is apologize. Worse yet, if you profusely apologize, all they're going to do is double down on you, just like I predicted on Joel's blog exactly what would happen when he apologized. I said they're going to double down on you, and they're going to probably kick you out of Mother Earth anyway. That's exactly the MO with these people. It's not to accept an apology or come to some point of agreement or get to a place where you can mutually exist. These people, it is not, they are not trained to do that sort of thing. You know, at the end of the day, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this Chris Newman because frankly, I don't care for the guy. Despite what the numbers may be on YouTube, frankly, I'm not sure how long I'll even be on this platform when I make videos like this. So get them while you can. And if you find any value to any of this, folks, maybe you'll subscribe. I don't beat you over the head about it. I'm not looking to get a ton of subscribers. None of us here are. What I'm hoping to do is get the right subscribers. The people that, like now, that I can mutually exchange. I may be the permaculture pimp daddy, but I don't have all the answers. And a lot of you out there, and you know who you are, have helped me out immeasurably along the way. From time to time, I get this thing. Somebody will think it's curious because they'll watch a recent video and think, oh, you hung the moon, blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, thank you for the kind words. And then they go back in the archives and they see what I had to say about certain things. And then all of a sudden, you just don't subscribe. No, you got to subscribe, kicking and scratching all the way out and being as passive aggressive as you possibly can by making sure you write on there, I liked you at first, but now I'm going to unsubscribe. Well, from the bottom of my heart, let me just issue this to all you people out there who feel hurt by some of the things I said. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. Because at the end of the day, folks, like I said, I don't care whether I get 100,000, 2,000. I was just as cool at 100 subscribers as I am where we are now. So if at the end of the day you think you're going to browbeat me into submitting or apologizing or saying whatever or fashioning whatever message I have to suit you so you don't go out there and tell everybody to cancel me out, which you have been doing, knock yourself out. We live in the United States of amnesia. So if you want to go ahead and attempt to shut me up to all those people out there, knock yourself out. I am not going to apologize for having a point of view. I sure find it curious that all you people out there in the cancel culture, you can run your mouth about whatever it is you want, but you'll do third-party attacks where you'll go to somebody's, let's say, their YouTube or Instagram channel, and you say, well, you posted a picture of this guy, or you had an association with this person or that person. I don't like you anymore. I'm going to cancel. I'm going to tell everybody. Look, that may work on other people. Ain't working on me, Jack. Let me just kind of reemphasize that I'm not looking for tons of subscribers. I'm looking for the right ones. People that I can exchange information with. People that seem somewhat receptive to the information we have. We have a fair amount of it. We don't have all of it. And we lay bare what we don't have. And it's painfully obvious when you see some of the colossal mistakes we make around here. By adopting this everything offends me mentality, I think you're shortchanging yourself. A guy with a whole lot of sense once he once said, the mark of a real thinker is the ability to hear any argument without necessarily agreeing or disagreeing with it. There was another guy, very well-known guy, that wrote, adversity makes men, prosperity makes monsters. And maybe we've just been a little bit too prosperous for a little bit too long, because at the end of the day, I see a lot of people complaining, and I'd be curious to see exactly what they're doing in their own lives, how productive they are. So I'm not going to give a whole lot. I mean, if you have a legitimate complaint or I step out of line, when you speak extemporaneously, you will almost certainly step on your own tongue a time or two. I know this firsthand, just like a number of others do. Of course, in this form, we may have to some extent the magic of editing, but it doesn't eliminate the fact that when you speak extemporaneously, anybody can twist, mold, shape, whatever they want in such a way to make themselves offended. Some of you people that are so easily offended and so easily shattered by words, by I mean, even words that just 5, maybe 10 years ago, nobody would even bat an eye about. Now, there are common words out there that everybody just universally knows is not cool. Now, from the top of my head, I could write a pretty impressive list of those words if I so choose. It doesn't make sense. You live here, you know what's right, you know what's wrong. Certain things you just don't say. But Joel didn't cross the line. A lot of other people out there that are being demonized and attacked, they didn't cross any lines. It's just somebody feels like, I'm going to wake up one day and I'm going to ruin this person's life. I do want to say thank you so much for all you folks out there who subscribe and you put your helpful comments in there. Even the criticism, man, I can take all of it, really. I got a thick skin and I learn from it. Even if it's recommendations on how to do something better, there are some people out there who have done that and we've taken their advice and we've become better for it. And for the others out there, part of this cancel culture that are going out of your way to try to demonize me and a number of others, folks, like I said, you can't. It sure is curious how you can be all on board all of a sudden. Then a person says one thing you disagree with, and then you shut your minds down. That is not the mark of a critical thinker. So this is Billy, the Permaculture Pimp Daddy, where PIMP stands for Permaculture is my passion. Because it really, really is. We'll see you next time.